Hey, good morning, everyone. So I wanted to hop on today to cover a trade I took yesterday, actually, on the SP 500. I wanted to do kind of a breakdown of, you know, what led me to take the trade, what happened, how I managed it. I am out of the trade fully right now. Um, I've still got it marked on my chart just as I'm watching to see if it goes to my TP objective that I had set, and kind of just watching it and thinking through internally like how I would continue to manage the trade. And if there's an opportunity to jump back onto it today, or if it looks like it's gonna go back the other direction. I'm watching the market this morning to see if there's any opportunities that present itself. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump in. We'll start with the daily chart first, just to kind of show you what I was looking at. So essentially, this is the day we're looking at right here, the 21st. So I was bullish going into the day, and I was bullish for a couple of reasons. As you can see, we had come down here, set the swing low, we broke, had a market structure shift here. So from this point forward, right in here, and then when we retrace down and we kind of just left these lows here, like once price came down and wicked those equal lows and below the 50% of this bullish order block over here, and then went up and started climbing higher, like I was like, okay, we're going bullish. We should at least go to the 50% mark at 39.22, which we did on the 19th, and then we traded above the high over here on the 20th. So to me, I could reasonably expect price to come up into this white shaded box, which is the fair value gap, over here from back at the beginning of June. And as you see, it goes from the wick of this candle, the bottom wick of this candle, to the upper wick of this candle. Price only traded in one direction there. So, and it's significant because we broke these lows here and then traded, that was the kind of the start of that whole move. So we're still bearish on the daily trend, but this bullish retracement here, this white shaded box, is kind of an area of interest of for that bullish momentum to kind of go into consolidation. And it could, obviously just keep going, and the indices, SP 500 could go bullish from here and break through this, and we could just start a longer term move higher. But that's, not an intraday perspective. We need to get to this area first and see what it does. So I was bullish going into the day, and this is kind of, like I said, my area I'm watching, specifically this line here, because that's the low of these blocks. So if smart money has any longs that they need to cover still from all this consolidation up here, this would be an area that they could mitigate that. So I don't have to demand that it would go all the way up to this, the lower wick of this candle. It could just tap into this level, consolidate, and reverse. So, but again, that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves. That would be a daily kind of position swing trading, kind of mindset. So on the 4 hour, there's not really actually too much to see on the 4 hour. So let's go down to where do I want to go? Let's go down to the 15-minute. That would give the most clarity as to what I did yesterday. Okay, so we've got this week's price action on the screen right now. And as you can see, the position from that I took yesterday is still up there. So my mindset going into Thursday was bullish, like I said. So I kind of had, this is what I had. I had Wednesday's previous day low mark. I had its previous day high, the high mark. And So when I started looking at the charts around 8:30, I usually start looking around like 8:30 in the morning, before I have to take my kid to work. So I saw the high, I saw the low, I saw a fair value gap, I saw these relative equal highs or lows. I'm sorry, right here. I marked the 9:30 market open, the 8:30 open price, the New York midnight open price. So I had all my kind of factors weighed in, and so what I saw is when I got on the charts, I saw these relative equal lows. I saw price went up, wicked through Wednesday's high, and then sold off. So at that point, I was like, okay, they've tapped in buy side liquidity. They've tapped in buy stops. If anyone was trying to go short, they might have their stop loss right there. So they've tapped that pool of liquidity. So if I'm bullish and they've already tapped in the buyers, they're not just going to run the price higher, because then the buyers make money. So they're going to take the price back lower. So I was watching these relative equal lows. Price came down, wicked through them, went back up, and I was like, oh man, I might have actually missed it. And you'll see on the lower time frame, I actually did put an entry right in here somewhere. I don't remember the exact spot I had it. You'll see it on the 1 minute time frame. That got stopped out on this push back down. So I had this limit set at 39.3750. I had that set as like, okay, this is the bottom limit I'm gonna have set. If it breaks through that, I'm not interested in going long on Thursday. So I had that limit set, and as you can see, like price pushed back down into this fair value gap, and into this bullish order block, this down close candle right here, and it didn't break the range of it, which I think is significant. And then this area of interest, just in case somebody watching doesn't know, like, okay, well, why was this in this area, leading to this fair value gap in this order block, like why was that all important? So the thing to note is we had a low here, we had a swing high here, it broke the low, and then came out, took the high, retraced back down and left this low intact, and then took off, breaking this high. So this right here could be viewed as an accumulation, this consolidation is where long positions were being built. So they're not going to take the price below that until they've hit their upside objectives, which again, for me, if you're looking for smart money objectives, you typically are looking on the higher time frames like daily and H4. So that's why I'm eyeing that fair value gap on the daily chart as kind of like a terminus of where price could go to. So I viewed this area as support, as a pretty strong support level that they wouldn't let price go below it. And as you can see, I actually didn't even put my stop at the swing low, the lowest point. I actually put it here because I was like, they've already taken this low here, so they're not going to take price back down to it again. At most, they might come down to this one. So I gave myself a little bit of breathing room, but I was not expecting Wednesday's low to be taken. So as you can see, and we'll see it in more detail as I drop down, at the 9:30 open, price kind of ran back up real quick and dropped back down, triggering my limit. I suffered a little bit of drawdown. Let's see, 39.3750. The low was 30.25, so about seven points and a tick of drawdown. So nothing too bad. It was about half of my stop. I had a 13-point stop on this one, so a little bit wider than I would have liked. But as you can see, if it goes to my TP objective, it still would have been a 6.5 hour trade. And then, like I said, I'm fully out of this trade already. I closed it. I think I closed it like over here before the market closed for the day, because you never know what's going to happen overnight. And I mean, luckily the market just kind of consolidated. Then London, it kind of went up, went down, and then it went higher. And now we're dropping, so who knows? what it'll do. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of the framework for it. Let me drop down to the 5 minute and we'll see this in even more detail. Um, so looking at the 5 minute, you can really see a better view of this. Hang on, sometimes it's so hard to get these charts to like look good. So yeah, as you can see, 8:30 price ran up, took Wednesday's high, sold off, took these relative equal lows, went higher, and then ran through that again to come down into this stronger area of support. And then, like I said, because this was another area where it took sell side liquidity before going higher. So this was like a 15-minute kind of time frame, spot where obviously I set a limit based on that. So it formed the low of the day, and then kind of rallied off, back above Wednesday's high and all that, and set the high of the day in the afternoon. So when I go to the 1 minute, you'll see it in the most detail, and you'll also see, why aren't my executions on here? Hang on, let me put my, why aren't my executions showing on there? Okay, well, for some reason my actual paper trade executions aren't showing on here for some reason. I have them turned on, so I'm not sure why those wouldn't be showing. Okay, well, I'm not gonna waste time on that. But I can show, in the account history, I do have the executions from that. So here's the 1 minute view. As you can see, 8:30 is the start of this green shaded zone. This is where this red line here is Wednesday's high. You can see where it took that, started trending down. And you can see here, this is the other trade I took yesterday that was actually a loss. So price came down, took the sell side liquidity, right? Those relative equal lows we had marked, and I was like, okay. So we did that. Price took out a high. This is sometimes this price is just there. That looks a little better. So we took the relative equal lows. We then broke this high, retraced down in. So technically this would have been right in here. On this wick, you could have got in here and rode it up here, but again, you would have, eventually it would have came back and stopped you out because it did fail to keep going higher. But I saw this, this leg up, and I was like, okay. I was like, we took the sell side liquidity, we broke some highs, and I was eyeing this. Let me go ahead and mark that. I was eyeing this fair value gap right there. And as you can see, it did kind of stop right on it at first, and kind of went up, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. And then it, pushed down through it again and went to the lower objective, which actually, let me turn, just for sake of, let me turn this on for the 1 minute just so you can see where the execution was on there. So yeah, so you can see I'm actually going to delete this now. So it ran through my stop there and kind of kept trending down. And then you can see, so we came back down into this level, hit it, rallied away, came back down again, put me in that little bit of drawdown. But, only lasted 10 minutes or so. It wasn't too bad. And then, I watched it climb back above those relative equal lows. It took out this high, and I was like, okay, there we go. you know, starting to feel a bit better about the trade there. Let me see where I actually took, because you can see here 721. You know, these are the trades I took, or the positions. So I closed at 39.59.50. I took a partial 39.59.50. Yeah. So I took my first partial around here, 39.59.50. And I think if I remember right, it was like over in here on this little retracement down. Because like it was getting close to the New York lunch hour, and I was like, okay, I was like, let me go ahead and take, you know, my first partial here. I really wanted to wait until it got up above, you know, Wednesday's high again, but I'm usually at the gym during this lunch hour in this pink shaded box. So sorry, this is driving me nuts. I need to do that. I'm usually away from the computer from about 11:30 to like 1:30ish. So I didn't want to risk like not taking a partial and then price like reverse on me and I end up with nothing. So I ended up taking my first partial, you know, right around in here. It was floating around the open price for the day and stuff, and it kind of like started retracing back down and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a partial there. And then you see I took my next one at 39.91.25, which was up here. And again, that's like getting close to, we zoom out, and actually 439, 439 is when I took that partial. So that was over here. Yeah, right in here. So essentially, you know, it was almost market close. It had already set this high and kind of retraced back down. So I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and collapse the position from there. Because again, I didn't want to go into the overnight holding the position. So yeah, so that's kind of the breakdown. Like I said, I did take a small loss over in here because I thought this might have been the bottom, but I quickly recovered that with this position here. You know, and like I said, for my own psychology, I'm working on taking partials at logical levels, you know, knowing when I'm going to be away from the chart, and not watching it and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I managed the trade. And like I said, I am out of the position, obviously, so I'm just kind of watching it now to see. And, you know, it looks like we've broken above this level, above yesterday's high. And we're about, the lower level of this gap is 40, 30, 50. So we're about 22, 21 points away from it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Like I said, I'm I think at this point, looking at the price action for today, I may have missed getting in today. There might be an entry, just looking at this. If it comes back down to this area in here at 30, it just peaks below 4,000 again, I might take an entry there to go to the bottom of that gap. That's only a 5R trade in total if it hits, but that would be kind of what I'm looking for. So you know what, we'll and actually it might just trigger while we're on here. 39.99.25. I'm gonna go ahead and actually set that. Do 2 contracts, so we'll go ahead and put that in. Stop loss. So we'll bump that up to 3, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so we got that order set. If it triggers, it triggers. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That would be, because we're past the 9:30 market open today already. And as we see, price kind of ran up first. You know, took Thursday's high, and then kind of took the low. The sell side liquidity here, went back up again and came back down. So that would be about the only area I'd really be looking for right now. So we'll see. I'll keep posted on the Telegram channel. That's linked in the bio. What this trade actually does. I might do a breakdown of it later if it warrants it, but otherwise I'll just do screen grabs of the chart on Telegram. So, but that's all I got for today. I'm thinking in the near future I might start making some videos just kind of breaking down some of these ICT style concepts. I'm obviously not trying to replace him as a teacher because they're his concepts. But this YouTube channel is serving a purpose for me as a way to explain these concepts, to reinforce them for myself also. And then if it just happens to help somebody else, or if somebody realizes that I'm doing it wrong, please feel free to mention that in the comments and correct it, because I'm still learning. Obviously, I'm not trying to pretend I'm a guru or anything. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get this. Watch this trade, and that's all I got for today. So if you have any questions, comments, if this video was helpful or anything like that, just feel free to comment on the video. The link to the Telegram channel is in the description for the video, so go check that out if you want. I try to be more active in there than I am on YouTube, just because it's easier. So yeah, so that's all I got. Until I talk to you, good luck and happy trading.